In order to practice AE script, you can use the scree object. The scree object allows the execution of AE script, and that's, well, pretty much it. That's its whole use. So now let's create a scree object. The process page looks pretty much like a text editor. Practically all process pages look like that. The exception is, for example, the process page for an SQL jobs object. There, you have a kind of an assistant for writing SQL files. But even there, you actually can switch to the regular script editor. First thing first, I use the set statement in order to fill the variables name and surname with my own name. Then, with the third statement, I create the variable full name to combine the other two variables into a full name. As you can see here, we are already using statements, variables, and also literals. What we're going to do now is that we get the current time with the systime function and then use the statement print in order to output the time along with my name. The systime function takes a parameter that determines the time format. Here I'll set it to an HH:MM. So those are hours followed by minutes and separated by a colon. Now we'll output the whole thing. We save the object, start it, and then look at the last report. In the activation report, we now see the output of the print statement. Now, since that's worked, let's take a closer look at the editor. In order to get to know the editor better, I've prepared a more complex script. And we have several options of how to load it. We can either simply paste it with copy and paste, or we can import a previously exported scree object, or we can use the script editor's import-export function. Well, I've already copied the script from a text file with Ctrl+C, and now I'm pasting the text here with Ctrl+V. This AE script creates a random number between 0 and 100. Depending on the value of this random number, the script outputs a different text. And if the number is greater than 75, it also starts an object. As you can see, the editor colors the statements in blue, the variables in purple, the functions in red, and the literals in gray. Although there is one small exception for the literals. If you write the literals without quotation marks, they will be displayed in black. Operators and JCL code are also colored black. This coloring of the elements is also called syntax highlighting. In the editor's toolbar, there are various actions that help us manipulate the text. Please note that, depending on your screen resolution, you might not see all the buttons. In that case, these buttons will be located under the More drop-down menu. I'm typing in a line with Unix commands. As you can see, JCL is also colored black. In order to undo the last action, I need to click on the Undo button. In my case, the Undo once more removes the previously written JCL. And if I've changed my mind, I can click Redo. Since only AE script is possible in a script object, I'll leave out the JCL. Using the comment out and remove comment features, we can either add or remove an exclamation mark at the very beginning of a line. This function also works across multiple lines. For aesthetic reasons, you can indent and outdent the text. You can also do that with multiple lines. Import text loads the content of a text file into the process page. Reformat all is one of my favorite features, because reformat all indents nested script parts so that the code is more readable. Yup, looks better now, as per my tastes at least. Further to the right in the toolbar, we can find another button to export the AE script. After pressing, it creates a file with the content of the process page inside it. The search function is a bit hidden. You can find it on the far right, but you can also open it with Ctrl+F. If you click on a word or select text, similar or identical text passages are highlighted in yellow. If you call up the search function with selected text, the selection is automatically taken as the search term. But the editor can do even more. With a right click on the text of one or more lines, you apply all actions of the editor toolbar to the selected lines. If you select Search within Help, you will get the documentation page for the corresponding statement or function open before you. It is important to note where on the line you open the context menu. If you search for help to the left of the equals sign when setting the random number, the documentation for the set command will open. If you search to the right of the equal sign, the documentation for the random function opens. So it's only logical that the search in help menu item isn't available in comments and JCL lines, because there's simply no documentation for that content. Another great feature is that the editor recognizes when you've selected a valid object. Here, for example, at the start of an object, if the number is over 75. Here, you'll find menu items to open this object, run it directly, view the report, and so on. Over time, you'll get to know a lot of these commands and functions. But every now and then, you'll probably forget their exact names or which parameters they have. Besides the documentation, the script editor helps you here with an auto-completion feature. You start typing your command, and then press the key combination Control Space. Voila! Now it shows you which commands start with the text you've written. Like here, if I know that my command starts with str, this way I can display all possible commands starting with str. If I'm no longer sure which parameters a command or function supports, then I just click on it and they'll be displayed. Well, if that's still not enough for you, now you know how to get more help via the context menu. By the way, auto-completion actually also works for variables. All clear now? Then let's summarize everything once more. The scree object only executes AE script and is therefore very well suited for practicing and testing various AE script logic. The script editor supports writing AE script with various features like syntax highlighting. That's the mode where different elements are marked using different colors. Auto-completion is there for automatically writing out commands, functions, and also variables. Let's not forget the export and import function for scripts, context menu for objects, as well as AE script commands. In addition, you also have the common text editor functions like search, replace, or commenting, also various options for automatic code formatting, and so on. The Automic documentation has all the statements and functions documented. If you have any questions or maybe encounter any problems, feel free to ask me in the comments.